Hey, what's up? I'm Kay Lee, sitting here with my co-host, Ben H.
What's happening?
So today on the ManFUzed Podcast, we're going to talk about the least moanable names. Names that would sound awkward if you screamed them out in the heat of passion. Also, Ben H's love and passion for cooking is earning him a new title. We're going to talk about the tragedy that unfolded in Houston, Texas, which ended up taking the life of a 28-year-old hip-hop artist, one-third of the hip-hop group Migos. And then I'm going to talk about how I am ready for another extreme adventure involving a jet ski. And I'll detail my last trip going from Juneau, Alaska to Prince Rupert, British Columbia, 550 miles in 5 days on a jet ski. The least moanable names.
Least moanable?
Yes. I saw this on Reddit, yeah. Picture you're getting it on with a girl or a guy. You can do this in your car. You can do this wherever, bro. And think about if you had to say their name as you were moaning, what would some of the least moanable names you could think of? I'm at work and I'm like, oh, Henry, or whatever.
You started with guy names.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that to me would be the least moanable because I am a heterosexual.
But do you moan girl names?
I mean, maybe my wife's name. So I started thinking about the least moanable names. Oh, Mom. That would be bad. Yeah, that is the worst. See, exactly. Now, Ben.
I have a hard time with this.
Why?
You know?
No, forget you're married. Forget you're married.
No, I'm not saying that.
I want you to go back to a single time.
Yeah.
I want you and think not about someone that you hooked up with, but think about you were introduced to somebody and their name was X.
Yeah.
And you're going, man, if I got to call that name out, like, that's going to be weird.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I got one.
All right.
Felicia.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a good one. Felicia.
What about Joy?
Joy. Oh, Joy. Yeah.
Really, any name is kind of awkward if you think about it.
No.
You think there's some that work?
Yeah.
Are there some that sing?
Yeah, Alexis. That works, right? Oh, my mom's name. You feel so good. How do you pronounce this, Ben? Gesundheit. Oh, Gesundheit. I don't even know.
Oh, Broomhilda.
Yeah, exactly. Broomhilda.
Broomhilda.
Gertie. Oh, Gertrude.
Yeah, Gertrude.
My grandmother's name, Florence. Flo. I just couldn't imagine saying that, right? Oh, Gertie likes it dirty.
Very gross.
Karen. That's not a good one. Eunice.
So all the ones that are awkward are like have a German accent or
Mona.
like an Eastern European.
Mona.
I think if you do anything in like an Arnold Schwarzenegger accent.
Yeah. Mona.
Oh, Mona.
What is God?
Oh yeah, Broomhilda.
Greta. Greta.
Again, that's like a German name.
Gretchen? Why is it?
All of them are all the weird ones are German. I think because they're like harsh. It's kind of a harsh language.
Yeah, it's not very sexy. How about La Volva?
Oh yeah, La Volva.
Oh, La Volva. Cheryl.
Oh, poor Cheryl.
Yeah. Ron.
Like Ron Burgundy.
Yeah.
No, she screams out his name in Anchorman.
Oh, Ron.
Oh, Ron.
Geraldine. Jolanda.
Yeah.
Here.
Byzantine.
Voldemort.
Vlad.
Gilsma. Doris. My other grandmother's name, Esther.
Esther? That's an interesting name.
Mariko.
Frederica.
People go off on Reddit. I really do like it. Theodora. Jorge.
What about Sarah and Jane?
Yeah, Theodora.
What about the 2-word names? Like Mary Ann.
Aunt Garcia? Oh, no.
Aunt Jonathan.
Aunt Graciela. Clarice. That'd be good. Shempy. The least moanable names. So if you ever meet one of those people out in the wild, you could say that you heard on the ManFUzed podcast that they have, in fact, one of the least moanable names.
I love it. Your name's not that moanable.
Yeah, I don't know if this is going to work.
Yeah.
I can't
your
moan
name's
your
moan
name.
level. You know, you got like a moan level between 1 and 5.
Yeah, you have a moan
level 3.5.
You have a moan offensive name.
Yeah.
It's just not going to work.
Yeah.
I don't care how good the sex is.
Right.
I will be a mute. All right, Ben has a passion for food, and he makes delicious food. And now he's thinking about taking on a new hobby when it comes to eating.
I thought about doing this thing on social media. You know how they have like food reviews? I thought about just doing like chicken wings. And I'd be the chicken wing king, and I would taste chicken wings and rate them.
Oh, I would love that. I love chicken wings.
Wouldn't that be good?
Yeah.
I think chicken wings is a good play. But here's what I ran into. The hard part is I think I'd have to do buffalo flavored. That'd be my baseline. Buffalo mild, I guess.
Now, would you do this at restaurants, or would you want to do like a cook-off with like individuals?
No, I'd go to restaurants and try their mild buffalo wings. Just
mild.
Or medium or hot or whatever. There's got to be a baseline so that you can compare, because I can't go to like one place and have lemon pepper and then go to the other place and have barbecue. I kind of ran into a roadblock there. Maybe the listeners can tell us.
Now, would
you care if I reviewed different flavors, or would you want it to all be the same flavor and based on that? Dave Portnoy, for example, the owner of Barstool Sports.
Okay, yeah.
And he's the guy, he's the pizza king. He does the pizza reviews.
Oh, wait, he's the dude that, did you see his sex tape when they released it?
Yeah, it was hilarious.
Was that hilarious? What an animal. Barstool animal.
Yeah, so he does pizza reviews, but he only reviews cheese pizzas, basically. I mean, that's kind of the baseline. Like,
does he still currently do them?
Oh, yeah. They're incredible. To get an 8 is like, and he scores them in like decimals, so you get like a 7.3.
So, and what does he do? And what does he do with the reviews?
He posts it on social media, and then he actually has an app now.
Mike Wallace.
Yeah.
Has an app downloaded.
Yeah.
So every place he goes to eat pizza.
Yeah.
He rates it.
Right.
Ranks it.
It's the One Bite app.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. Because he does this whole stick.
Is that his app he created?
Yeah, his pizza reviews have blown up. It's crazy.
If he goes to a place and your pizza's shit, it's going to be known that he thinks your pizza's shit.
Yeah, bro. And if he goes somewhere and gives it like an 8 or above, the places line out the door. If you get a 9, dude, you're famous forever.
So here's the deal. Okay, fine.
9+ is like...
Okay, here's the deal. So this is how we proceed. Every place you go, you feel like ordering wings.
We'll put them up on the podcast. So I want to do the video, and I want to, rate chicken wings. I think it would be very helpful. Because chicken wings, bro, think about it. It's such a wide range between a shitty chicken wing, which is disgusting. There's nothing worse than a bad chicken wing.
No.
But there's also nothing better than, a superb chicken wing, like a great one.
Yeah.
Like a truly great chicken wing.
Juicy.
Is one of the best things ever.
Yeah.
Crispy on the outside, juicy and tender on the inside.
So fried, but then put on the grill.
I mean, however they do it.
They got to be big and plump and juicy. Don't hand me a baby chicken's wing and then it be fried to death like a potato chip with like a strip of meat on it.
Yeah, yeah.
And another thing that I don't like about chicken, when I pick up a chicken wing, I don't want it sitting in a pool of sauce.
No?
No.
You want it to be evenly coated?
I want it to be evenly coated, but I want the sauce to be cooked into it.
Yeah.
I don't want an unflavored chicken wing that they threw in a bowl of sauce right before they brought it to you.
Absolutely.
It's garbage.
Yeah, it's garbage.
Sitting in a pool of sauce. No, I don't want sauce overkill.
I agree. I mean, cooking chicken wings is an art. I mean, it's a real thing. There's nothing I hate worse than a slimy chicken wing. The slimy skin. The skin is slimy and chewy.
But if you grilled, wouldn't it be a little more slimier than if it's fried?
I don't like slimy at all.
But you grill chicken wings.
I grill them to crispy skin.
Yeah, okay. Do you not like them when there's a bit of feather on them still?
Get it downgraded for sure.
Really?
Yeah.
So would you do this on a scale of 1 to 5?
1 to 10.
1 to 10.
And I'd follow Dave Portnoy's scale too with the decimals.
What's the decimals? Explain.
Like, it's not a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or whatever, 6, 7, 8. that's a rookie score. Because if you're really scoring it, you got to go in the scale. Okay, if it's a 6, is it a 6-1? Is it a 6-6? Is it almost a 7, but not quite?
What would take off, in your opinion?
Everything. The whole experience. I mean, from the time you walk in,
seated,
just everything. Just the whole, like you're saying, it came in a puddle of sauce. That has nothing to do with the way it tastes. But it does have an effect on, like you're saying, I hate chicken wings that just come in a puddle of sauce.
Right.
You know? Your initial impression, that's going to affect the overall score. I mean, really, you're scoring the experience. Ultimately, it's all about the cook. Horrible experience, and it could still be an 8.7 chicken wing.
So have you ever seen this show, and this doesn't have to do with food, it's about these two dudes that gauge stings and their venom scales.
Wow. What is it called?
Kings of Pain.
Kings of Pain? Ow.
They know what they're going to get stung by. Then they have to go to that part of the world and capture it. They have a medical team around them.
Oh, my God.
And they pick it up and they let it sting them.
Oh.
And so they're always arguing who's going first because they each have to do it. And then
this hurts just thinking about
dude,
it. Dude,
it's dope though. My son
God.
loves it.
Definitely want to watch it.
Like the rockfish, crazy things, dude.
What's been like a really bad one?
Crazy centipedes like in Asia that have these huge stingers like on the butt that very venomous.
Dang.
Sometimes they're throwing up, but I would say a python is not venomous.
Right.
They have just shitloads of teeth. It's not just like on the sides and in the front like ours. It's like a moray eel where there's teeth coming down,
dude.
but the teeth are curved back.
Yeah.
So when they grab something,
it
they can hold. Like you can't
Jeez.
get it out. And dude, they literally had this snake that was probably like 15 feet long on a table, and they went to the edge of the table and held their arm out where they wanted it to bite, and it bit. The dudes got lit up, and the way that they got the thing to let go, they would shoot alcohol into its mouth and it let go. They're not poisonous.
The one we had at my son's birthday party, dude.
Oh, yeah.
The big yellow one.
Yeah.
Your wife danced with it.
Yeah, she did. She looked good with the snake around
She did.
Yeah,
it reminded me of the story when you guys met.
Yeah, right. Anyway, I think it's a great idea, Ben. So you start gauging it. Your videos, they got to go up on the ManFUzed YouTube.
Absolutely. Wherever they have chicken wings, I'm just going to try them and rate them.
We have to have a branded name for this.
Chicken Wing King.
Chicken Wing King.
Or I could just be Chicken Ben.
No, I think Chicken Wing King.
The Chicken Wing King.
What does the Chicken Wing King say about this place? Yeah.
Chicken Wing King's here.
All right, there it is.
You know what I mean?
Branded.
Branded. Hashtag Chicken Wing King.
Yeah, we'll get it.
At Chicken Wing King.
That's right.
www.Chicken Wing King.
Right.
If it's available. I better check it first.
Probably not.
And it's such a commitment when you order chicken wings. Number one, they're not cheap.
I remember when you could get 10 wings for like $7.
Not anymore.
Never.
10 wings, $15, $13.95.
20 sometimes.
6 wings, maybe $10.
Yeah.
$10.95. So my point is that it's a big commitment when you order the wings.
Right.
Number two, if one of them is bad,
You've got 9.
they're all fucking bad.
Right. You got 9
They
more
all
to
suck. And you really can't send chicken wings back.
Well, yeah, you can.
I mean, if there's something really wrong, of course.
The manager's going to come over and go, bro, you ordered chicken wings.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's not that there's literally something wrong. It's just that it's not a good job, in my opinion. I'm not telling people whether to buy something or not. I'm just giving them my opinion of how the chicken wing tastes.
Yeah, unless it's high up on your scale, and then you can definitely recommend. You could give the Chicken Wing King could give it 1 wing up.
Yeah.
Are you going to give it wing up or wing down? All right, so you've heard of the group Migos, right, Ben?
Yes.
Of course you have. They're from Atlanta. There are 3 family members that made a hip-hop group. They really changed the way some of hip-hop sounds now.
They're badass.
So you've got Quavo, who is the uncle of Takeoff.
Right.
And then you've got Offset. Offset being the guy that's married to Cardi B or has kids with Cardi B. I don't even know if they're married. So there were rumors that the band had split up, but none of those things had been confirmed. Quavo and Takeoff were in Houston. Now, I don't know why they were in Houston, but they were at a bowling alley. They went to a party. Something happened outside, and there are...
It was odd, too. It was really
unconfirmed.
strange.
I don't know if the police have confirmed there was a dice game going on. That was the original reports coming in.
Oh, really?
But that altercation happened, and words started flying.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, gunshots. Quavo was the one you hear in the audio.
Right.
Now, I don't... Talking. Now, I don't know if that was the tension point.
It seemed like the end of whatever was going on.
Takeoff was just kind of standing there.
Yeah, he was just there.
Standing next to an Olympic boxer, actually, that they identified, when all of a sudden gunshots were let off by supposedly 2 different gunmen, and I guess Takeoff got hit in the head or neck, died right there.
Yeah.
28 years old. And I was listening to the police, their press conference. Initially, the police are like, back in the day, you got in an argument with somebody, and if it got to that point, put up your dukes.
Everyone was walking away from the conversation. In the audio that I saw, it was Quavo who was talking to someone, and then there was a girl saying, well, hey, nobody here is going to be disrespectful. There's a dude holding the gun in the video that I saw. Then...
Oh, you saw a video of the dude holding the gun?
In the video where they're talking about basketball, this was like the end of whatever it was that was going on. Quavo goes, I got to get out of here. And then that crew all went this way. And that seems to be the direction that the shots were fired. From the perspective of the person that was holding the camera, who was standing behind the guy who had a gun. I don't know if he's the one that shot. Apparently there was more than one person with a gun, but this guy was definitely holding a gun. He had a gun out already.
And Takeoff is not one of those rappers that's in the press all the time for being wild or crazy. He was actually considered one of the most low-key artists.
They're like a evolution of like Outkast.
Yeah.
And they're Atlanta. Got that Southern playlistic Cadillac music vibe.
If you're a hip-hop artist and you're known, everyone knows you have money. If I was a hip-hop artist that is well-known, dude, I would be wary about going anywhere.
Yeah, it seems
because
like
people know you're rich.
Right.
You've got jewelry.
That's right.
You've got cash.
Yeah. They're jealous.
Yeah.
It's envy.
Right, absolutely. And what? All you have to do is just look at someone wrong and you could be shot these days. It's just ridiculous.
Well, there's a saying, and, it's not my saying, but I've read it.
Oh, no, it's yours, Ben.
If
you say it, it's yours.
But it says you can't go back to the hood. You can't go back to where you came from if you come up big. You got to have protection because, dude, somebody wants to take your life just to be the one that took your life. Just to take away what you have. Just to take your life away. Because that's how frustrated they are.
I don't know if they have leads, but there were 40 people out there. No way that this person who shot them can get away with this.
You would think there'd be camera footage of some sort
around there probably is.
Around the bowling alley. There's got to be, dude. I mean, this was like...
You're in Houston. You're not in like some backwoods town.
Right.
I mean, there are cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
The scene out there can be pretty brutal.
Well, that's what I mean. And it's like, it's just like young Dolph, dude. Who was an amazing artist and died this year, too. He was in the neighborhood where he was from, going to get cookies.
Oh, that's right. I remember
from his favorite cookie spot.
Oh, yeah.
He went and got gas.
Yep.
Because somebody saw him at the gas station.
That's right. I remember this.
And he went and got cookies. And they were following him, dude. They just rolled up on him and just lit him up.
It's just crazy.
He's got kids, dude. Where he lives.
Do you think it was Mrs. Freshly's? I love Mrs. Freshly's.
Do you?
Yeah, Mrs. Freshly's.
I forget the name of the cookie place.
Well, and their cupcakes.
It's an issue that we have.
Everywhere. I mean, dude, you've got the hip-hop community eating itself, I guess you'd say black on black crime. And then on the other side, you've got these white crazy mass shooting up schools.
Yeah.
You don't really see too many black people going into mass shooting. It's the crazy, picked on, depressed white boy trying to be a martyr and goes and kills all these young people.
I think a lot of it is gang related. A lot of the gang stuff is an undercurrent to the fact that, there's a whole different economy out there. The drug market, the black market. There's a whole nother economy that uses cryptocurrency and cash, and it's completely off the grid. The drug cartels Once all those drugs come across the border from the drug cartels, they go to the gangs. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so we have cartels within this country right here all around us, dude. Sex trafficking, drug trafficking,
human trafficking.
You know, the whole thing, dude. I mean, it's really freaky.
That is the sub-market.
And people in that world exist all around us constantly. And dude, typically they're strapped, and that's the world they live in, dude.
Yeah, that's what they see on a day-to-day basis.
When you're doing that kind of thing, okay, you're doing business and that's a part of your business. I don't condone it or anything like that, but I'm just saying, when a guy like Takeoff gets killed, for what? Being successful?
I don't think it was aimed at Takeoff. I think it was just a wild shot he got caught in the crosshairs of.
To really shoot a firearm precisely takes an incredible amount of skill, and especially a pistol, because the barrel is so short that, you know, when you see these people just hold up the gun and go like that,
or turning it to the side.
Yeah, you're spraying it basically. I mean, I saw a guy on a video on social media. He's at the gun range, and he just held up the gun and he was just like, "Oh, what'd you say?" And then he like let off like 10 or 15 rounds, didn't hit the damn target once. And the target was like 20 feet away. I think he was shooting at all of them. He's probably shooting and running backwards at the same time. You know, condolences to Takeoff's family. Our city is mourning big right now. The loss of Takeoff.
Definitely is a sad day. I mean, there have been many sad days. It's just, I guess when somebody is popular, passes away like that at such a young age, it's just like, it's a normal thing now, though, every week. Will it change? Probably not. I just don't know at this point how you could stop it.
I think that people need to be really careful when they're out, you know? The whole idea of going without a crew, like going without protection because you're that guy and the streets love you and all that kind of stuff, I think it's a big mistake, dude.
If you've got that much fame, money, there's a reason why you have that entourage.
You have to, dude.
Yeah, you have to. Because everybody wants what you got.
That's right. You got to have those people around you, and I guess they didn't.
I would assume Drake, when Drake goes out, he's got protection. I don't know that much about the Migos, how they handle that aspect of their life. I don't follow them close enough. And there again, that's how low-key they were. I don't even know if they went with an entourage everywhere they went.
No, they're low-key, dude. I definitely don't think they had one with them. Spread the love, dude. You know what I'm saying? Just be a part of the love, bro.
I ran across this Canadian rapper, Tom McDonald, on TikTok, and his song, Fake Woke, just spoke to me.
It's crazy, I'm the one who they labeled as controversial, and Cardi B is the role model for 12-year-old girls. There's rappers pushing Xanax at the top of the billboard, but if I mention race in a song, I'm scared I'll get killed for it. It's backwards, it's getting exponentially dumb. It's more difficult to get a job than purchase a gun. Eminem used to gay bash and murder his mom, and now he doesn't want fans if they voted for Trump. We're ashamed to be American. You should probably love it, cause you have the right to hate it and not get stoned to death in public. As children we were taught how to walk and talk, but the system wants adults to sit down and shut up. Cancel culture runs the world now, the planet went crazy. Label everything we say as homophobic or racist. If you're white, then you're privileged, guilty by association. All our childhood heroes got Me Too'd or they're rapists. They never freed the slaves. They realized that they don't need to change. They gave us tiny screens, we think we free cause we can't see the cage. They knew that race war would be the game they need to play. For people to big teams, they use the media to feed the flame. They so fake woke. Facts don't care about feelings.
He says a lot there.
He does.
All right, so here's the deal. I'm thinking I want to do it again. One of the most extreme.
I don't want to ride the banana again.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty good.
Is that what you're talking about?
No, but why don't you, now that you've said about riding the banana, why don't you...
that's what you were going to ask me to ride another banana.
And I wasn't asking you.
Oh.
I was letting you know if you wanted to go on this excursion with me.
Are you talking about 75 hard?
No, Ben. I'm talking about an extreme adventure. I'm talking about a once-in-a-lifetime thing that I did that I could honestly say 99.999999999% of the world has never done. As I've said in the past, I am a voice artist, and it was the day I got back from Thailand. I got a job to record and narrate some lines.
Right.
And I wasn't told what it was. It was a show. And so I did it. Same day. I get a call, the executive producer, and asked me if I would like to be the voice of this TV show that was on AWE or A&E, and there were a few others, MAV TV, which is kind of, you know what MAV TV is?
No.
It's a network channel that kind of features a lot of extreme sports,
Nice.
like, NASCAR stuff and motocross and, any type of extreme sport you can do. And asked me if I would be interested in narrating the 5th season of this show and the head guy on the show.
Right.
And it was based on these 5 dudes that everybody had their own set of skills. Like one guy was a medic, one guy was a mechanic, one guy was a cameraman.
Right.
And these 5 dudes in the 5th season had traveled the world on modified jet skis.
That's nuts.
So they had gone from like Alaska to Russia. When they pulled up on the Russian shores, got detained for like a week.
Wow.
In Russia, under heavy security.
That's
they
nuts.
could not leave.
That's crazy.
And they made the news globally. Because when you see 5 dudes on modified jet skis with all their gear, and you're like, well, what kind of gear? You can't carry that much gear.
Right.
You've got this little hull. The jet skis are modified with these cages that are welded on the back with gas tanks because you only make it 150 miles maybe on a jet ski, depending on how rough the seas are.
Right.
You've got to fill up right there.
Yeah.
And that was one of the main things for this crew, was being able to find gas in some of these remote areas,
That's crazy.
these remote towns. And so, I mean, there were stories of them literally having to have a water plane and land to be able to give them gas.
Wow. That's hardcore, dude.
Yeah, seriously. So when I picked up the job, they were in India. The Indian government, which they had already kind of mapped out and had permission, but when they arrived, their communication between the areas were not very good.
Yeah.
So these people had no idea.
Right.
So they look like potential terrorists.
Right.
So they got stuck in India, yada, yada, yada. So it was really cool. And what inspired this dude, the executive producer, was he lives in San Francisco, and I hope I'm getting the story right, and he got some jet skis, one time, and they started going out on him, and they were like, all right, let's go past the San Francisco bridge, and then they kept going, and then he just had this idea. It was like, everywhere they pulled up, people would be like, you're here on a jet ski? That's the craziest thing I've ever heard.
So you went with these guys?
So I did the 5th season.
You narrated the 5th season.
Correct. And some of the 6th, I believe. Whatever. And did their promos. A couple years after I narrated the season, I get a phone call because he had some other stuff. The show went off air. And they had a lot of trouble with some of their crew of 5.
Yeah.
Sometimes in, the 3rd season, the mechanic wasn't there because he was off snorting coke and doing blow and banging hookers and not wanting to get up to leave to go on, so they had to replace people. Sometimes this guy sent people home, and so they had to find a replacement to come out. Because if you have a 5th jet ski, you can't just leave it there.
Can't leave it there, yeah.
You need to put an ass in the seat and somebody to drive it.
Yeah.
So this dude
the show must go on.
Correct. But this dude, after the show concluded, started sharing the experience with the public and started his own adventure company.
Wow.
And so he hits me up, and it was like April or something, and he's like, listen, we've got 3 or 4 different legs going back and forth from these areas. If you could get to Juneau, Alaska, I got a jet ski for you. We're going to go from Juneau, Alaska to Prince Rupert, British Columbia.
Yeah. Which,
if you don't know, down the Inside Passage is about 550 miles in 5 days.
That's insane.
With a 6th day built in, just in case we hit some rough water.
So what's the Inside Passage? What is that?
Set of islands.
Yeah. that you can ride within instead of being completely out beyond the islands on the Pacific.
So by going down the inside passage, you're going to have land on the side of you at all times.
That's good.
Now, there are certain legs of the trip where you don't, but this way, the water's a little calmer.
Sure.
It's really cool because you can navigate through these.
I love doing that.
And that was the leg of the trip that I chose to be on. The only thing I have to buy is my plane ticket.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he charges like $6,000-$7,000 for these adventures, not including your plane ticket.
Right.
But that includes like your hotel, you know, everything, but that's all built in. But you're talking about $6,000-$7,000.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I don't have to bring anything but a plane ticket and my clothes, and I have to buy certain gear and stuff. They provide the dry suits, pack. I'm like, dude, this is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
So I arrive in Juneau, Alaska, and I meet up with the crew.
Yeah.
Now, I told my neighbor about the show because I was getting excited. I was going to be going in a few months. And he goes, I've seen that show before. And I said, well, dude, I'm going on this adventure. I said, if you want. So I hit up the executive producer and I'm like, hey, you got another seat? If he's got 6 or 7 jet skis, and this was the end of the season, he's got to move them all to Prince Rupert.
Right.
I say, hey, my neighbor's interested in going. I don't think he could pay $7,000.
Yeah.
But is there another seat? Can you do anything? And he basically came back to me and said, if he can get me $3,500, I'll put him in a seat. Told my neighbor, and my neighbor was like, I'm down.
Dang.
So now all of a sudden I had a buddy going.
That's awesome.
So we get out there. I meet him out there. He leaves before me, and I arrive in Juneau, and we had rough water that first day. So we got to actually spend a day just hang around Alaska.
That's always nice. You like check out the town and like go
and
eat some food.
Went to the glacier.
Have a drink or whatever.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And then we had a whole day to, kind of get psyched up. The first leg of the trip, the following day, we meet at 7 a.m. It's like barely daylight. And this is the time in Alaska where it's almost even 12 hours a day. Sometimes during different seasons, you've got like 16 or 17 hours of daylight and very little nighttime.
Right.
The first leg of the trip is Juneau, Alaska, to this little Native American town that has like a population of like 350 people.
Yeah.
And it's called Cake.
Right.
So it's 150 miles from Juneau to Cake.
Right.
It was cold. It was very overcast that day. It was in September. It took us about 6 hours because there were some rough chops. But dude, on that leg of the trip, and we stopped so many times because we had humpback whales coming out of the water right next to us, just pods of them.
Right.
And you could see so far off in the distance with snow-capped mountains, you see their blowholes blowing water 30 feet in the air.
Right.
And so you knew exactly where they were. So we'd pull up on them and then we'd idle. So you don't want to be like revving engines. These things, I mean, dude, you can't
amazing.
You can't get closer to the water than on it. It's not like you're on a boat. You're on a jet ski.
On a jet. You're like on the water.
You're basically on the water.
Yeah.
My toe is in the water.
Like touching the whale.
Yeah, essentially. Just coming out the water. So every day I got off the water, dude, I was like, that's one for the record books. I can't believe the beauty that we saw today. I can't
Do you still look back and like imagine like just the ride?
Yeah, so nuts. So that was day one. We get off the water. We're just mind blown.
Yeah.
Sore a little bit because we had some chop. And when you're hitting chop on the jet ski, it's not very comfortable.
Joke, bro. Yeah.
Now, fortunately, out of the 5 days, I'd say 4 of them were almost perfect like glass.
No way.
The last day being the worst. I was so sick of it. I was angry for the time. I'm like, are we there yet?
How many hours are we talking like in a leg? Like on the last day, how many hours were you hating life?
Getting facials.
Yeah.
Just taking it to the face.
Constantly.
One after another, wiping off your eyes. So the first day, that leg was 150 miles. That was a big leg.
4 hours?
But we also stopped watching these whales.
Right.
And so we were actually enjoying the scenery a lot.
So it was a full day.
About 7-8 hours.
Yeah.
So by the time we get off, we pull into a different town each night. We go to Cake. And instead of going to a hotel, he knows this woman who lives in the bottom but has like 5 almost looking hotel rooms on the top of her deck.
Right.
like on the top floor that are all individual rooms, overlooking this amazing view, and she makes us like homemade dinner and breakfast. And then we take off the next day to a different location.
Yeah.
Now, the next leg was to this place called Wrangell, which was a busier town. It wasn't a huge port, but there was a pizza place there.
Yeah.
The other place had no pizza place.
Right.
It had a gas station, and that was about it. And we got to see black bears. They could have come and ate us if they wanted to.
Pretty dangerous.
And they were with cubs, too. But we kept our distance. But the next day, we went and we gassed up at the next town we were staying at, but then took off immediately after we gassed up and went 45 minutes to this place called the LeConte Glacier.
Dang.
And we are weaving, I'm talking gunning it through ice
nuts.
Fields, dude.
No way.
Trying to get to the glacier.
That's insane.
Like, just in and out of ice.
That's
big
insane.
Icebergs where chunks of the glacier had like broken off.
That is so awesome.
Sometimes going through the broken, melted pieces of ice where you're just like...
That's wild.
It was the most insane thing I've ever done. Like, I'd say that right there was one of the biggest highlights, was just going through these ice fields.
Right.
Like, ice everywhere. And you're just gunning it down to get to this glacier. I had my cargo area I had the hull, which was where my dry pack was.
Yeah.
And then there was one compartment where I held my vape pens because I was vaping on the water. So
nice.
The glacier was insane. And then from there...
Was it blue?
You're talking hundreds of years old. It is more clear than any ice than you can even imagine. It was as pure as it gets.
That's
thousands of years old. Point being, I'm ready to go back. I want to do another leg. I've never been more in touch and appreciated nature, how vulnerable you are out there, and the beauty that you take in. I mean, you come back and you're just like, saw the most awe-inspiring like scenes, picturesque. And you've also done something kind of dangerous, and no one else has done it. We went from town to town, from Ketchikan, which is a big port city. That's where a lot of the cruise ships bring in on an Alaska cruise, and then you get to go shopping. There's little huts on the water. When you go from Ketchikan to Prince Rupert, British Columbia, now you leave land on one side.
Right.
So you've got land and your open ocean.
Yeah.
You have to gauge the weather that day because the chop can make it not safe.
Right.
Fortunately, we caught a break, and that trip was probably about 130 miles.
Yeah.
And I would say about 3 hours of it beating your ass.
Just getting beat.
Forearms are just worn out. And the only way really to handle it is to just gun it.
Right.
As fast as you can. You go slow, the chops are even harder. Mm-hmm. And staying as close to land as possible is the smoothest. Instead of crossing, which would be faster typically, now you're riding as close to shore as you can.
That's right.
To make it bearable.
That's right.
But is also taking longer. I'm ready to do it again. He has a trip that goes from Seattle to Juneau, which I think would be a pretty cool ride. Seattle to Alaska.
Absolutely.
And I think that's a longer stretch. I think you do 700 miles in a shorter amount of time. So it's like 4 days, 700 miles.
Dude, that's crazy.
Most people, when they think of jet skis, they think riding around on a lake.
Yeah.
They don't use it as a mode of traveling.
Yeah.
You don't use it to get from point A to point B.
Dude, I want to do that with my boat. I've always wanted to do like multi-day. You know what I mean? Like in the tropics. Running from island to island, you got to find the marina that has the hotel.
So you map it out.
You know, figure out where you're going to stay and stuff like that.
That'd be amazing.
And do like a week.
That would be
like
awesome.
down in the Bahamas or down in the Keys or something like that.
How long would it take on a boat to get from like Fort Lauderdale to the Bahamas? Is it Miami or Key West to the Bahamas?
So you go Fort Lauderdale to Bimini is the shortest pass between the United States. It's about 50 miles.
That's it?
Yeah, but it's across 3,000 foot deep ocean water, so it can get crazy rough. You have to go when it's right. And then when you get to Bimini, you have to process into the country.
Same thing we had to do in Prince Rupert.
But dude, once you do that, you're in the Bahamas. And if you got the right boat, you can go anywhere.
Once you're there?
Oh, yeah, dude. Anywhere in the Bahamas. You go to the Exumas, you go to the Abacos, you go... Bro, there's people that go, and just travel in their boats, and they just go all throughout the Caribbean.
See, that would be insane.
And all that, and the weather's always good, dude. So,
well, it's just that window, though, of getting to Bimini.
If you got the right boat, you're good, you know what I mean? But would you consider yourself having the right boat for that? Not unless it was a calm day. My boat would require a calm day.
Going back real quick, when we arrived in Ketchikan,
Yeah.
as we're pulling up, we see a boat that we recognize. The boat from the Deadliest Catch.
Oh, cool.
They're docked.
Yeah. That's awesome.
That boat is a beast.
Yeah, dude.
So as we're pulling up, one of the crew members,
Yeah.
hey, you guys, he don't know who we are or what we're doing.
Right.
He just sees this crew of 7 modified jet skis pulling up, and he screams, where y'all coming from? We just came from Wrangell. We're barbecuing. Come up. We spent like 3 hours
No way.
hanging out on that boat
That's
from the
cool.
Deadliest Catch.
That's so cool, dude.
I believe the guy, first mate on the show,
Yeah.
is living there because one of their engines died.
Oh, wow.
And he was going to be there for 3 months because that's how long it was going to take another engine to get in and be installed.
Amazing.
So basically, they were just living there to see how they can crane fish and then where they dump it. I mean,
It's
dude,
insane, dude.
had offers, the guy was saying, $30 million or
I'm
something
sure.
for that boat.
I'm sure.
And the boat wasn't new. It's
No,
just,
but it's a battle axe.
dude, that boat could be in the Bering Sea.
Right. Anywhere on Earth.
In the roughest waters you can think. I mean, it is in the show,
That's the cool thing about boats like that is those boats can go anywhere on Earth.
but they don't go fast.
No, they'll get through.
I'm going to post some videos and pictures of my adventure. I'm thinking 2023.
I'm down, dude. I want to go.
Ben, you know what I've always found fascinating and something that I wish I knew how to do is to be able to relay GPS coordinates to somebody over the phone and them being able to find your exact location. Our guest next week is Fred Hughes, who served multiple tours in Afghanistan, was a saw gunner, a squad leader, I hope I'm saying that right, and he had the ability and the clearance to be able to call in air support. But the training involved and needed to be able to do that's got to be somewhat extensive. How do they train for that?
You have a map, you have a coordinate of where you are, and you got to find your way back with a compass. Or maybe you have to like go and hit this checkpoint by this time, this checkpoint by this time, and then you got to be back at HQ by this time. And that's how missions are run. You know, like when you run a mission, like when you're downrange, like it's so easy to get lost, dude. When you've got other things on your mind. And,
yeah.
you know how like a lot of lakes in Georgia is just like fingers. It's like all these little, it's like a river. You know, I was riding this jet ski and I was like cruising through the thing, just blasting, dude. And this jet ski goes like 70 miles per hour, blasting through multiple corridors where, you know, I could have gone this way or that way. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to keep going right. Well, then I got out into this big area and I started doing donuts. And then I stopped doing the donuts and I looked up and I realized that I had no idea from which
Point you came.
point I had come into this area.
Ooh, so what'd you do?
I just picked the one that I thought was the correct one.
And it was?
It wasn't. But it got me to a place, asked this dude on a boat. I was like, dude, I'm freaking lost, man. I was like, I have no idea where I am.
Right.
And I was able to describe a couple things, and he was like, oh, just go that way. And I did, and it got me back.
I'm looking for a monument.
On my boat, I have the GPS thing. I'm talking about that is such a life-saving piece of technology on the ocean.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I mean, I've been on boats all my life, and I've never traveled like that on the water. You know what I mean? Where I'm literally going so far away that I need a GPS. It's such clarity.
I mean, isn't it like, okay,
Like in
you've
the
gone
Keys?
straight out, but shore is back that way. Like,
Kinda, but not really. I mean, again, you can get really turned around.
right.
Or you put your head down for 10 minutes or something, and then you pop your head back up and you're like, wait a minute, everything looks different.
Right.
I mean, obviously, if you're just going down the coast, but if you're traversing from island to island or inner water canal out and then back into another one.
Critical.
I love land nav, though, dude. Land nav was one of my favorite things.
Would that be like considered tracking too, or no? Is that a whole nother thing?
Tracking's a whole nother thing, dude. I mean, tracking is crazy.
Man, that would be so dope, like skill to learn.
There's some people that are really good at it, mostly people who have grown up in the woods, you know,
Right.
especially like people that are really good at hunting, have grown up like tracking.
They can look at the way shit is just
Yeah.
pressed
That's right.
down. Okay, I know
Yeah.
what was walking here.
Well, it's funny, like if you go back in the woods, like you can see deer trails Have you ever seen that?
You see a trail, but then there's a way that you could really see the trail. Like I'm talking, I might see the trail. Great, this is something I'm walking along.
Yeah.
But like to really look.
I mean by looking at the leaves. Like you can see deer trails just by looking at the trees. You can see the routes that they take because they take the same routes. And you can look at the ground, obviously you can see it, but sometimes you can't. How the
leaves are
the
folded
leaves of
or
things are moved, you know,
or bent.
You just see a little pathway through it.
Right. Yeah, that's always fascinating. But even to be able to track humans. Hey, check us out at ManFUzed.com. You can subscribe for free. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Join the show. Leave us a voice message. Send us a text at 770-744-5227.